In 1890, a man named Angelo Mosso built a very strange machine. He strapped people's fingers into heavy metal weights. He asked them to pull over and over until they couldn't. Their muscles locked up, energy completely gone. But then Mosso did something unexpected. He didn't give them rest. He didn't give them food. He offered them money, a lot of money, and suddenly the paralyzed finger moved. It lifted the weight again, as if it was completely fresh. This wasn't a miracle. It was a glitch, a biological conspiracy. Mosso realized something terrifying. Your muscles weren't empty. Your tank wasn't dry. Your brain was simply lying to you. And right now, someone is using that exact lie to control your life. What is fatigue? In nature, running out of energy is death. If you drain all your ADP, your heart stops. Evolution couldn't risk it, so it built a safety switch, the central governor. When you are at the gym or staring at a screen at 3 p.m. and you feel you cannot continue, you are actually fine. You have 40% left, always. Fatigue is not a physical state. It is an emotion, a chemical hallucination designed to stop you before you damage the machine. It is a brilliant mechanism, but it has a flaw. If fatigue is just a signal, it can be hacked. Enter the Industrial Revolution. Factories didn't care about biology. Machines don't get tired. In 1926, Ford standardized the 8-hour workday, not for your health, because it was the mathematical limit, the exact threshold, before the brain forced to collapse. But the world changed. We moved to desks. Physical strain vanished. Mental strain exploded. The alarm started ringing earlier. Corporate productivity hit a wall. They needed a blindfold for your brain. So they sold you coffee and energy drinks. Here is the secret. There is no energy in caffeine. None. The molecules just travel to your head and plug the receptors. Your body is screaming, but your brain can't hear it. You are chemically muting your survival instinct. A $460 billion industry built on severing the connection. But chemicals wear off. You crash. They needed something better. They needed to hack the software, not just the hardware. Hustle culture, gamification, the dopamine loop. Remember Mosso's money? Psychological rewards unlock the vault. They force the governor to yield. Every ping, every fitness tracker ring, every fake deadline is a simulated crisis, extracting your emergency reserves day after day, year after year. This is precisely why you experience a profound, chronic exhaustion that a simple weekend of sleep cannot cure. You aren't just physically tired. You are biologically bankrupt. Every time you push through the fatigue using an energy drink or the fear of a looming deadline, you are taking out a high-interest loan against your own nervous system. And the modern corporate structure is designed to keep you permanently in this cycle of debt. They extract the labor, and you are left paying the biological interest. We have normalized living in a state of perpetual physiological emergency. We call it ambition, but your central nervous system processes it exactly the same way it processes being chased by a predator. Think about the multi-billion-dollar wellness industry. It exists entirely to manage the symptoms of a disease caused by the modern workday. It doesn't fix the problem. It just keeps you functional enough to return to the desk. They sell you mindfulness apps and expensive sleep supplements to counter the anxiety and insomnia caused by the screens and metrics they force you to engage with. It is a perfectly closed economic loop. You sacrifice your biological reserves to generate capital, and then you spend your own capital to temporarily patch the damage. When you finally collapse on the couch on a Friday night, unable to even think about a hobby or socializing, you often blame yourself. You label yourself as lazy or undisciplined. You look at influencers waking up at 5 a.m. to run marathons and build businesses, and you wonder what is broken inside of you. But nothing is broken. Your brain is functioning with absolute evolutionary perfection. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do over millions of years. It senses that your environment is constantly extracting your vital resources, and it is forcefully pulling the emergency brake to keep you alive. Your laziness is actually a highly sophisticated survival strategy. It is your body refusing to participate in its own destruction. The people who tell you to push through the pain and grind harder are essentially advising you to dismantle your own biological fire alarms. If you remove the battery from your smoke detector because the noise annoys you, you don't stop the fire. You just guarantee that you will burn. This is the grand illusion of the modern productivity era. It relies on your ignorance of your own anatomy. As long as you believe that fatigue is a physical limit, you will keep searching for a physical solution. Another coffee, another pill, another biohack. But once you understand that fatigue is a calculated emotion generated by a central governor trying to protect you, the entire architecture of modern work begins to look a lot less like innovation and a lot more like extraction. They didn't just automate the factories. They automated the exploitation of the human nervous system. And the most terrifying part? The system is completely invisible because it is built into the culture itself. We celebrate the exhaustion. We wear our burnout as a badge of honor, a proof that we are valuable members of society. When someone says they worked an 80-hour week, society applauds. But biologically, we are applauding a slow, systemic suicide. Angelo Mosso's finger-pulling machine from 1890 never went away. It just got infinitely more sophisticated. Now, the machine isn't made of leather loops and metal weights. It is made of algorithms, performance reviews, and social expectations. It is strapped to your mind, not your hand. And you are pulling the weight every single day, completely voluntarily. The moment you try to stop, the system applies the psychological pressure Mosso discovered, the fear of falling behind, the fear of missing out, the fear of artificial scarcity. These fears bypass your logical mind and strike directly at your ancient survival instincts, forcing the governor to open the emergency reserves. This is how a person who is too tired to stand up can suddenly find the energy to finish a presentation at 2 a.m. It is the biological equivalent of burning your own house down to stay warm for one more night. And eventually, the fuel runs out entirely. This is when the central governor stops asking and starts dictating. This is the clinical reality of chronic fatigue syndrome and severe clinical burnout. Your brain physically alters its chemistry. It permanently lowers your baseline energy output, preventing you from ever reaching those emergency reserves again. It is not a weakness. It is a desperate, final act of self-preservation by an organism that has been pushed past its evolutionary limits. If you want to reclaim your autonomy, you have to start by recognizing the lie for what it is. When you feel tired, you must learn to separate the physical reality of your body from the psychological pressure of your environment. Ask yourself, are you actually out of energy? Or is the system simply demanding access to your emergency reserves? Refusing to be productive when you are exhausted is not an act of failure. It is an act of rebellion. It is drawing a boundary that the market is not allowed to cross. It is protecting the 40% that belongs to you, and only you. The 8-hour workday, the endless emails, the constant connectivity, these are not natural laws. They are inventions. Inventions designed by people who profit directly from your inability to listen to your own biology. You are not a machine. You are a biological organism with natural rhythms, seasons, and strict evolutionary boundaries. Your fatigue is the oldest, most loyal friend you have. It has kept your ancestors alive for millions of years. It is time you stopped silencing it with caffeine and shame and started listening to what it is trying to tell you. The next time you hit that wall of exhaustion at 3 p.m., don't reach for the energy drink. Acknowledge the signal. Understand that your brain is functioning perfectly, and realize that the only thing truly broken in this scenario, a system that expects you to ignore it. You are not losing a battle against yourself. You just never knew there was an enemy in the room. They built a world that requires you to run on reserves just to stand still. They monetized your survival instinct. They turned your biological limits into a commodity, and they convinced you it was your fault. So the next time you feel that heavy, impossible exhaustion, smile. Because that feeling means your body is still fighting for you. It means the central governor hasn't been defeated yet. You have 40% of your energy left, safely locked away. And no algorithm, no deadline, and no corporation has the right to take it from you. Take back your biology, respect the signal, and stop paying a debt you never owed in the first place. Angelo Mosso's machine proved that we can always go further. But it also proved something much more important. Just because we can, doesn't mean we should. The ultimate biohack isn't a new supplement or a complex morning routine. The ultimate biohack is radical rest. It is the conscious decision to stop producing, to stop consuming, and to just let the machine cool down. Because in a world that profits from your exhaustion, closing your eyes and refusing to move is the most powerful act of defiance. You are the custodian of an ancient, miraculous system. Protect it. The next time they tell you to grind, remember the 40%. The next time they sell you a shortcut, remember the blindfold. You are not an engine. You are a living, breathing organism. And your fatigue is not a flaw. It is your armor. Wear it. Listen to it. And the next time the system demands more, look at the gauge, acknowledge the alarm, and simply tell them, no, you owe them nothing. Your reserves belong to you. Sleep well, because tomorrow, the system will try again.